Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Breaking news for you. Ethiopian PM Abiy just a few minutes ago talked about coup attempt that people tried to stage a coup. Discussions were held to overthrow him, to overthrow his government. What did he say? Who planned this coup? What is his message for those who are planning similar coups who want to overthrow him? You know that Pim Abiy delivered a speech at the parliament today. He was presenting his government's performance report today at the parliament. Budget has been approved for the new fiscal year. Members of parliament submitted questions to the speaker. PM Abiy responded to these questions, and during his talk, he claimed that discussions were held to stage a coup against his government. What did he say, and what is his message for those who tried to stage a coup? He talked about other issues too, like the reports by international human rights organizations regarding the alleged involvement of Ethiopian military in human rights abuses. He talked about cost of living too. He talked about Christian Tadale and other members of parliament who are in prison. Firstly, he said that discussions were held to stage a coup, and he mentioned the word elders or fathers, that they were part of the discussions too. Did he talk about community elders or religious elders? I'm not clear, keeping in view my barrier in terms of understanding the local language. But he mentioned the word elders, that elders were part of the plan to stage a coup. Then he said that we are soldiers. We have built a system. No coup can happen. No coup can succeed. This is not the first time that he said this, by the way. In some previous talks too, he said that he has developed a system in Ethiopia which is going to safeguard Ethiopia against any coup attempts. What is this system? I think he was referring to perhaps the establishment of special Republican Guards, the force which is directly under PM Abiy's command, which is responsible for the security of Prime Minister and government buildings. So even ENDF cannot stage a coup against the Prime Minister and the government, because the Republican Guards are directly answerable to the Ethiopian PM Abiy, the Ethiopian Prime Minister. This force will protect. It is protecting Ethiopia against coups. Secondly, maybe he was talking about very effective intelligence collection system, intelligence agency of Ethiopia. NIS is again under direct control and command of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. It's a very powerful institution in Ethiopia. So if NIS and Republican Guards are the two powerful institutions, if the two institutions are being directly controlled by the Prime Minister and they don't report to the ENDF, it means that PM knows what is happening in the country, what is happening in ENDF even, what are channels doing. He knows that. That is why he said that he has built a system which is coup proof. No one can say a coup. And then he threatened. He said, those who are planning similar coups, you will pay the price. You won't succeed. Coup will never succeed, but afterward, you will pay the price. Now, question is, who planned this coup? A few months ago, we saw that Ethiopian government arrested several activists, journalists, community activists, mainly from the Amhara background. And the government said that they were planning to overthrow the government. They were planning to overthrow the constitutional order. Did he talk about that coup today? That groups and people in the Amhara region or in Addis Ababa, but linked with Fano. They tried to stage a coup. He was obviously not talking about Fano's advance towards Addis Ababa. That's not coup. But Fano says that it wants to reach Addis Ababa. It's not a coup. Fano is saying it wants to capture Addis Ababa by force. Ola maybe could be planning a similar operation. It's not a coup. Coup is when someone from within the government, one journals, etc., part of the government people who stage a coup, who overthrow the government. That is what I think he meant. That someone from within the government wanted to stage a coup. But any arrests from within the government, within Ethiopian National Defense Force in the last few months, arrests of those who were planning a coup, I'm not aware of such large-scale arrests. So then what did he mean when he said the discussions were held to stage a coup? Maybe he was talking about planning by some Amhara groups to convince people of government, ENDF officers to stage a coup, but that planning could not succeed because government got information in advance about that and those networks were dismantled. He talked about the cost of living too. He said that food inflation is declining in Ethiopia, though it's a global phenomenon. But he linked inflation to development. He said if you work on development projects, inflation will rise. So you cannot stop development projects. It's a very interesting theory, by the way. He then talked about Christian Tredale, the member of parliament from Nama party, because a member of political party, Nama party, raised question about Christian Tredale and others. He said that if you are here in Addis Ababa at the parliament fighting for change, no problem with that. You can fight here politically. But if you say that you will march to Addis Ababa, you will march to 4 Kilo, it means you're against the parliament, you're against the government. You won't be tolerated. Criminals, whether they are members of parliament, journalists, activists, soldiers, won't be tolerated. They'll be treated like criminals. So he did not show any flexibility on the issue of Christian Tredale. Then he denied the involvement of Ethiopian military in human rights abuses. He said that these human rights organizations are backed and funded by their employers who are using them as tools against Ethiopia. Military as an institution has been doing accountability to people found involved in activities which are illegal, have been put in prison. Thousands of ENDF soldiers are they have been put in prison and they were punished. So military as an institution is not involved in any human rights abuses. There could be some individuals and individuals will be punished. But we know that the international organizations are accusing the military that it's a practice adopted by military, that military is killing civilians in revenge attacks. People suspected of supporting Fano being killed in revenge attacks. Even health care providers, doctors, nurses being tortured, killed, abducted just because they are involved in giving medical treatment to Fano fighters. Basically, a strong speech by the Prime Minister of Ethiopia today is saying that no one can remove him. If you want to remove me, only political channels can work. By the way, there is no political channel to remove him because opposition has fled Ethiopia. Jawar, Bekele Garba, nowhere to be seen. TPLF now turning into PP's ally. Amhara opposition is Fano armed opposition. So how can Abiy be challenged politically when he is not allowing anyone to exercise their political rights? Thank you for watching.